Hey, this is Derek Jordan. Welcome to the World Fusion Show, where we bring you the leading innovators in world fusion music. Today, my guest is Barbora Xu, who is a singer, a composer, and plays the guzheng. Welcome, Barbora Xu, to the World Fusion Show.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. And I just think it's interesting because you're joining us today from Finland, where you live, but you got very interested in Chinese culture and Chinese music, and you found the guzheng in your travels there, which is a kind of a Chinese zither for those of us who don't know, those people who don't know. Anyway, tell us a little bit about your background in music and how you got interested in Chinese culture.
Yeah, so I was always a singer. Since I was a small girl, I was always making noises. And when I was at high school, I decided to go for a career in international relations. And I started with Chinese. And I became an expert on China. But during my master degree, I wanted to go back to music because music was really a big part of my life before then. And I realized that that's really what I want to focus on and where I want to put my time and energy. And because I was already so deep in the Chinese culture and I really loved it, I decided that I will introduce this element in the music, and I will try to connect these two worlds so I would be able to do both. And during my master degree, I did research on traditional singing technique of the Bunun people in Taiwan. So while I was in Taiwan, I was interviewing a lot of them. And on the way there, I have also been to China performing this Finnish traditional zither called kantale. And there I was really interested to find out whether there is a similar instrument to kantale in China, which I could play too. And I found it, and that was guzheng. So as soon as I knew what to look for, I was just asking everyone I met. And finally, I met a really nice person who invited me to their home to play, and then I would come day after day, every day to play guzheng. And when I left back, then they decided that they don't really use the guzheng as much, and they gave it to me. So then I was just stuck with this feeling that this is such a beautiful feeling, and the obligation to sort of stick with this wonderful instrument because I was given the faith.
Yeah, that's great. Now we're going to go to our first video, which is you performing with a bansuri player. Tell us about this.
So it's a project that we did a year ago with my classmate, actually, Jaako Arola. He is originally a saxophone player, but super skilled as he is. He just picked up bansuri and and we have made this song months, I think, since he started. So it's really wonderful. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Let's go to the video right now.
jestli sním. Jednoho dne z rána probudím se zprávou, kterou pořád ještě nečekám, že jsi zpátky, že tě tu mám. Zas vidím ten sloup, kde si tenkrát stál a do poslední chvíle počítal. Nikdy nevíš, kdo si sedá do posledních řad, jednou, že rozváže ti jazyk na pořád. A lípy tančí a kančí v rytmu, co znám. Připadám si, jako by tu měli lesní bál. Vítr mi poví vše, co ví, a tak se mi zdá, že všechno je, jak má.
Barbora Xu. And I wanted to ask you, Barbora, about your process and how you like to use Finnish poetry for your lyrics and adapt them to your songs.
When I moved to Finland, I heard about this huge collection of traditional poetry. It's actually a collection of transcribed texts of songs, because these things, they were sung and then somebody, wrote it down, but they didn't perhaps write the melodies, they just wrote the lyrics. And now there is this huge, vast amount of texts, which are really interesting, beautiful, and old. Those are things that were, passed down in generations for thousands of years, probably, until they were written down. So I decided to go through a couple of books, a couple of these kinds of collections of poems, and then I found some really powerful things. You know how sometimes you read a poem and it just has a certain character, certain personality. And I knew with many of them that I want to work with them before I knew what they meant. And then I just went on and translated with a friend and realized that, yes, this fits in my worldview, which is just kind of wonderful. And they happen to be nature-related poems, all of them. And so those are the poems that inspired me to create new melodies and set them into new soundscapes using mostly guzheng. So the inspiration there comes actually from the words and the poem itself, which was originally sung. So it sort of, invites you to give this function back to it.
Yeah. So I'd like to go to our next video, which is you performing a Finnish lullaby. Tell us about that.
Okay, so that song is called Nuku Nuku Nurmelintu, and it's one of the most famous Finnish runolaulu lullaby. So this melody actually is the so-called runolaulu. So it's one of the few melodies that we still know today. And I will not go into detail about runolaulu, but to tell you just a little bit about perhaps the meaning of this song, there were specific lullabies that may or may not be used as not only in the case you are putting the child to sleep, but also in the case where the child has died and you are singing the child to an eternal sleep, because in hundreds of years ago and such, many of the children didn't survive, and this was a way for the mothers to cope and give peace to both mother and the child. So while this song is today used still as a lullaby, it may have also this connotation. If you look at the lyrics, there are some things, for example, the symbol of bird, because nuku nuku nurmelintu is talking to a bird. You compare the child to a bird. So birds are related to spirits in Finnish tradition.
Yeah, that's great. Let's go to the video right now.
Nukun, nukun nurmilintu, vesy, vesy vesterkite, sä pellolle pesesi, koivun oksalle kotisi, koivun oksalle kotisi, kalliolle kartanosi. Nukun, nukun nurmilintu, vesy, vesy vesterki. Tässä pellolle pesesi, koivun oksalle kotisi. Koivun oksalle kotisi, kalliolle kartanosi. Nuku unnosen rekeen, vessyläisen kelkasen. Nuku kun minä nukuten, vesy kun minä vesytän.
Hey, we are back with Barbora Xu. Barbara, I wanted to ask you about the source of your inspiration. You said you're very inspired by nature. Tell us how that works for you.
So I feel that there is a certain kind of unity or transcendental quality that is present both in nature and in everything. It's just so that I seem to resonate better with the calmness or gentleness of forests and meadows and such more than cities. Although I understand that you can also find it there, it's just that somehow I really find that everything I need is in the nature. It feels like the most beautiful cathedral for me if I go to the forest, and it seems just so effortless.
Yeah, and you said you live on an island in the forest.
Yeah, we live in a small island in Finland, and there is not many people, and there is a lot of lichen and deer and birds and the sea, and yeah, there is a lot of peace here.
Sounds great. So we're going to go to our next video. What do you want to say about that?
So Olin ennen Otramana is it's actually the first song I have ever made with the Finnish poetry, with the Finnish, this like song, actually it's song lyrics, and the poem or the lyrics that I used, it was very hard first to find out what it is about, because it tells about, if I roughly translate, when I was a 5-year-old flower, a 6-year-old, and then there are parts like, when I sat down, the ground rejoiced. When I stood up, the valleys rose. When I walked, the walls became translucent. And when I danced, the sky boiled. So actually, this is really nature-related text, really powerful, and nobody really knows what it means. But based on certain specific parts of the sentences, we think that this poem might have been originally sang after the one of the legends of or myths of creation of the world, where the moon and the stars they were created, and after that, this person who is experiencing the freshly created world is also experiencing those things.
Yeah, that's great. Let's go to the video right now.
Olin mie kukkakuskel sosna, vilkka 5-vuotias.
right, we are back with Barbora Xu. Barbora, I wanted to ask you a little about your philosophy and what your purpose is for your music.
So I think that music for me is simply the best way to contribute, or it feels like if there is something I have to offer and share with people, maybe that is it, or at least that it is easiest done through music. And I hope that I can sort of use this project or my work to share between people and connect people. And I love the idea of our cultures being connected throughout the world and us sharing, the relationship with nature and the relationship and ideas such as, creating a wooden box with strings on the top. That kind of instrument is something that sort of shows how similar we are, even if we come from very different places.
Yeah, that's great. Now we're going to go to our last video, and this one is you collaborating with a tabla player. Tell us about that.
This video is from the album release concert, and I play there with a wonderful friend of mine, Ihan Fu, who is a Taiwanese tabla player. And we are playing a Finnish, one of the Finnish lyrics with kantale and tabla.
All right, let's go to the video right now.
Läs on siinä lämmin leipä, kun on leipä kiukaassa. Saalassa siinä lämmin neito, kun on neito vieressäsi. Puhas on neito puolellasi, kirkas neito kihloissasi. Vakeainen valoissasi, soriainen suojassasi. On pulmonen lumella, puhtaa hampi puolellasi. Kirkas on tähti taivaalla, kirkkaa hampi kihloissasi. Valkeaa merellä vaaksi, valkeampi valoissasi. Sorjaa merellä sorsa, sorjampi suojassasi. Et oisi Savosta saanut, et tuonut Turusta kanaa, tavannut Viron takoa, vettänyt Venäjän maalta. Nyt sorittää neitokäistä, mokomatta morsianta, silmät maksavat sinisen, poski puhtaahan punaisen, varsi valkean paperiin.
All right, we're back with Barbora Xu. Barbora, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us today on the World Fusion Show.
Thank you. It's been a real honor. I'm a big fan of your show.
Oh, that's very
So I hope everybody has a lovely day and lovely to talking to.
well, and I'm so glad you can share your music with our audience. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Hey, it's Derek Jordan. thank you for joining us today on the World Fusion Show. And it's just been great to have you. And we've got so many great shows. So please tell your friends and let's keep spreading this music all over the place. I'd like to say a thank you to our sponsors, Mackenzie Family Charitable Trust, Chris Pratt, Nancy Feinberg, and Ron Dans for your generous support. And also, remember, as we always like to say on the show, think globally, listen locally, and support independent music.